Hello, this is Aki. Today I will answer some of your questions and concerns about the resident tax, and together I will deepen our understanding of the subject by answering the questions I have received and even present some ways to save taxes. Okay, our goal is to understand well our resident tax Japan. One of the most common tax worries in Japan is resident tax. This is because resident tax comes suddenly. In addition, you may be asked to pay it when you are about to leave Japan and wonder whether you have to pay it. These are some of the essential nature of resident tax that you should understand. No one would want to come to Japan and avoid taxes. This is why it is a good idea to understand more about the resident tax and even take tax saving measures. In this video, I will answer your questions, explain the fundamental nature of the resident tax, and show you how to avoid being taxed and save money. If you want to learn more about taxes in Japan, please subscribe to our channel or sign up for our newsletters in the overview section. The agenda is as shown. First, we will compare and explain the resident tax and income tax. Next, I will answer each questions on YouTube. Finally, we will share information about the tax credit schedules for 2024. Please watch until the end. First of all, we compare resident tax and income tax to clarify. Why does the resident tax come suddenly? Understanding this point will make dealing with the resident tax easier. For income tax purposes, there are two categories, resident and non-resident. Residents are also classified as permanent resident and non-permanent residents. Up to the classification, the income tax may not be taxed. To this end, let us first deepen our understanding of the structure and the similarity between resident tax and individual income tax. You understand the income tax better than the resident tax. Income tax is deducted from your monthly salary if you are employed. Assuming that you are working somewhere, you earned 400,000 yen. The withholding income tax deducted at that time was 11,610 yen. This is what you call income tax. The amount of income tax is shown on the payslip. The sense is that the income tax is deducted in the months you earn the money. In reality, this deduction is a rough calculation. If you contract insurance or deduct medical expenses, you may pay too much in taxes. Also, as your salary increases, you may pay less taxes. This is because progressive taxation raises the tax rate as you earn more, so you may still need to catch up even if you increase your income tax collections proportionally. To eliminate this discrepancy, those who strive to do so recalculate their salaries from January to December and adjust the excess or deficiency in December. This is the year-end adjustment that often works. This year-end adjustment ensures that the income tax are collected in the proper amount. Let's look at the figure on the table. If you work from June to December, you earned 400,000 yen per month and received a bonus of 800,000 yen for December. Then your annual salary income is 3,600,000 yen. If the official yearly income tax is 11,610 yen per month, the 7 months is 81,270 yen. However, the year-end adjustment total is 96,600 yen, so you can refund the difference of 15,330 yen as a result. Then, how does the resident tax work? Resident tax does not have a classification such as a permanent resident, non-permanent resident. Those who come from outside Japan and whose period of stay exceeds 3 months are registered in the basic resident registration book. This means that they are subject to resident tax. Suppose you started working in June and your payslip does not include the resident tax. Then when is the resident tax imposed? As you can see in the table, the resident tax is imposed the following year. For example, you earned 3,600,000 yen in salary last year, and your net income after deducting salary income deduction is 1,894,000 yen. And the resident tax rate is 10% of this amount, so 189,400 yen will be imposed as a resident tax. When will you receive the bill? Think back this income is what you earned from June to December of last year, the resident tax bill for this income started in the June of this year. Although the income tax was settled in December last year, the resident tax starts in June this year, 6 months later. This is the reason why you feel the billing started very suddenly. It is important to note that those who have worked in the manner shown in the example will be billed for resident tax in the following year. So let's go to questions-based answers. So the question is, I quit my job last May 2023. Until November 2023, I don't have work, but the city hall continued to send me payment for tax. As it turns out, you must pay resident tax even if you quit your job. Looking at the previous section, when was the taxation of the resident tax decided? It depends on your current situation as of January 1st. If your income last year was above a certain level and you are living in the municipality on January 1st, you will be billed for resident tax from June onward. The correct explanation is that the resident tax was already determined in January and billed late. It is not an additional tax levied later. Therefore, even if you do not have a job now, you will have to pay the tax on last year's income. The next question is there any possibility or any exemption about the payments? I'm often asked this question. There is a notable exception. However, it is essential to remember that there are not many cases of exemption. For example, if you are receiving public assistance, 生活保護, or if you are a widow or widower and your income for the previous year was less than 1,350,000 yen, or if you have a part-time job, you do not have to pay resident tax if your annual income is less than 970,000 yen. Note that if you only earn a salary, the minimum income that is not subject to income tax is 1,030,000 yen, while the minimum income that is not subject to resident tax is 1 million yen. The minimum pay for resident tax is lower because even if your income is low, you receive services directly from the municipality. The resident tax is applied to service around you, such as the garbage collection or the cost of arranging the ambulance services. Go back to the previous point. If you are under public assistance, divorced and have children, but your income was low the previous year, you may allowed not to pay resident tax. One way to avoid being imposed resident tax is to ensure your certificate of residence is in your country before January 1st. Move out of Japan in December. Assuming you are returning to your home country, you will not be subject to resident tax since your municipality of residence will not be in Japan January 1st. What if you are cheated a little and moved out of Japan on January 3rd, but only reported it to the municipality on moving December 20th? In this case, you need to pay resident tax because the move was made without actual status. The resident tax is imposed based on the actual status. And go to the next question. Is the resident tax not imposed on bonuses? As it is turned out, a resident tax is also imposed on bonuses. As explained at the beginning, the resident tax is calculated by calculating your income from January to December of the previous year and multiplying it by 10%. In this way, the resident tax will not be on your payslip when you receive your bonus. However, the following year's resident tax bill includes the bonus amount in the calculation. You may feel that you do not have to pay resident tax on your bonus because it does not appear on your payslip, but in reality, you do have to pay resident tax on your bonus. The next question is, what happens if you are delinquent in paying resident tax? There are 4 major possible disadvantages when a resident tax is paying his or her resident taxes. The first is revocation of status of residence. You will no longer be able to stay in Japan. This is the biggest disadvantage. The second is that there will be a delinquent and additional tax. The original delinquent amount, the late payment of the tax will incur additional tax at the rate of 7.3% for 6 months in principal and 14.6% after that. Depending on social conditions, notable exceptions may apply, so the rates are 2.4% and 8.7% until the end of 2024. It is important to note that when you burn either one, you will be subject to a large amount of delinquent tax. The third disadvantage is that your family will find out when they receive the notice. The tax delinquency is a pretty big deal. You may take it lightly, but it's never good to be perceived as sloppy with money by your partner. If your business partner or company finds out about it, you will also lose credibility there. The fourth disadvantage is that you may be subject to foreclosure for non-payment of resident tax. In the case of seizure, there is no need to file a request with the court. After a certain period, the municipality can foreclose. How does the foreclosure work? First, the municipality will send a letter for resident tax with 20 days of the delinquency. Legally, if you do not pay the delinquent resident tax within the 10 days of the dispatch of this demand letter, the municipality can carry out a seizure. However, the procedure is not to foreclose sadly. The city will issue a notice of foreclosure and give an ultimatum. Once this is issued, the next step is foreclosure. In the foreclosure process, not only what kind of property is being examined, but also interview from the employer, business partner will be conducted to examine the employment situation. In this way, your family, employers, and the business partner will find out that you are in arrears. If the seized property is not found, the investigator will enter the home or workplace without notice to check it, just as they do in criminal investigations. For example, if there is a monthly salary, the seizure will continue until the arrears charges and the resident tax are collected. However, since there is also a living requirement, the seizure is limited to 1/4 of the amount of the monthly salary. If your bank account is seized, the bank will pay the arrears and the resident tax amount directly to the municipality. So number 5, isn't it strange that the amount of resident tax is doubled or tripled? Some people are often wondering this question. This will be a different story depending on which month you start working and being taxed. For example, you start working in September of your first year and earn 300,000 yen monthly, then the annual resident tax amount will be 0. And let's say your salary for the following year is 330,000 yen, then the amount of money earned for the year will be 3,600,000 yen. Then the amount of money earned for this year will be 3,600,000 yen, and the estimated amount of resident tax for the following year will be 152,000. And let's say you also receive 400,000 yen per month for the following year, then your annual income will be 4,800,000 yen and your resident tax will be 229,500 yen. Looking at these figures, the resident tax has doubled and increased more. It is unlikely that an amount will keep doubling again and again, but it may double or triple over the next few years. And next question is, what is a TIN code? The TIN code means a tax identification number. In Japan, the TIN code is the number on your My Number card. Please note that this number differs from the tax identification number issued by the tax office. In addition, it is something other than what you calculate and pay yourself, as you do with your resident tax return. The municipality will send you a statement of calculation and you will pay it. Therefore, the payment number on the statement differs from the number on your My Number card. And number 7, how much is my annual resident tax? If you are an employee and have received a year-end adjustment from your company, you can determine the amount of your resident tax from it. For example, let's say that your annual income is 2,500,000 yen, then you would multiply this amount by 10%, resulting in a resident tax amount 250,000 yen. If you work for a company, this amount is often divided by 12 and deducted from your monthly salary. Any fractional amount will be added in June, the year's first month. If you are a sole proprietor and receive a bill, you may be required to pay the tax in 4 installments. In this case, you can still pay the entire amount on June. Due to delays, individuals are less likely to be burdened with interest, payments, and the cash flow, so they may choose to pay in a lump sum, considering the hassle of payment if they can afford it. And next is, can I save tax? Typical tax saving method is furusato nozei. By paying donation to a municipality, you burden 2,000 yen for the hack result, and you can receive a return gift. The limit depends on the amount of money you earn each year. For example, you can get 10 servings of Kobe beef steak for only 2,000 yen. Although the total amount of resident tax itself will not be reduced, you will be able to gain overall benefit by receiving the return gift in your hand. Donations can also be used as non-return gifts. You can also make a non-returnable donations for Noto Peninsula earthquake. If you would like to donate even though it will not save tax, this is how to do it, and it's better to check the donation amount at the tax filing. And the next question is, what should I do if my resident tax is incorrect? If your resident tax needs to be corrected, contact your city office. Resident tax is based on income tax calculation, so it is possible to make an unexpected mistake. If you pay the tax without knowing it, the taxation has been completed. You should check to ensure you have the correct resident tax. If the incorrect resident tax is for this year, you should adjust your subsequent tax collection to match the amount of resident tax. For example, if the total tax amount is 240,000 yen, but the actual tax amount is 200,000 yen, you should apply the amount you have already paid and divide the remaining amount by the remaining months to pay the tax. Mistakes in resident tax which lead to refund can be backdated for 5 years. If the error is not limited to this year but extended back to last year or earlier, you need to consult with the city officer on a case-by-case basis to determine the best course of action. And the last, what are the planned tax deductions for 2024? In 2024, they are planned to cut income and resident tax by a fixed amount. This is due to the government's policy of returning the people the portion of tax revenue that was higher in 2023. The policy is to reduce income tax by 30,000 yen per person and the resident tax by 10,000 yen per person, for a total of 40,000 yen per person. Let us assume that there are no dependents and that 10,000 yen will be deducted from a new resident tax levied in June. If the 10,000 yen is not fully deducted from the June resident tax, the resident tax will continue to be reduced until the total amount is reduced. This is why some people criticize that it is difficult to see the effect of a tax reduction because it is not a direct payment. The same is true for Japanese people surprised by resident tax. In particular, many employees are not subject to resident tax immediately after graduating from university and starting work, but the tax is deducted from their second year onward. Therefore, it is common for people to be surprised after their second year in the workforce. By understanding the system well, you can avoid surprises when the bill comes. This knowledge will help you manage your cash flow if you are a sole proprietor. It is also possible to save tax by using furusato nozei. In this video, I focused on answering questions submitted by viewers. It is fun to communicate in this way based on comments, and I always read through the comments. So if you have any questions or want me to include anything in the video, please feel free to include it. I have tried to answer these questions this time. They are all valuable comments that I have received from you. Many of the questions will be helpful, so I hope you will refer to the ones similar to your situation. This channel explains Japanese tax situations that are useful in daily life and business. Please subscribe to the channel so you will know when a new video is uploaded. Let's deepen your knowledge and get rid of your daily money worries.